Hello, good day. I'm Mary Grace Zanaria from BS Ed English 1 Set C. So now let's talk about or discuss about the linguistic and its interdisciplinary reaches. So here the objective of our topic today is to know the main goal of linguistics, the main idea of linguistics, and the role of linguistics, and what are the main linguistic characteristics. So let's start and discuss it all. So, linguistic analysis. It refers to the scientific analysis of a language sample. It involves at least one of the five main branches of linguistics, which are phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. It can be used to describe the unconscious rules and processes that speakers of a language use to create spoken or written language, and this can be useful to those who want to learn a language or translate from one language to another. So, interdisciplinary linguistics, it examines the complexities of human language across a variety of school departments. In this program, he will explore elements of language structures, the relationship between language form and meaning, language variation and change over time, as well as issues of language used in daily communication in various social and cultural contexts. And it develops students' excellent analytic writing and communication skills, which are assets in almost any career. It also relating to more than one branch of knowledge. The word interdisciplinary can be broken into parts. Inter, which means between in Latin, and disciplinary, which is from the Latin disciplina, and it means teaching or knowledge. Pragmatics. It in linguistics and philosophy, it is the study of the use of natural language in communication, and it is generally the study of the relation between languages and their uses. So, there are three major concepts of pragmatics. First is the physical context, which, which means where the conversation takes place and what objects are present and what action taking place, or it is the environment where the communication takes place. For the example, a noisy, crowded bar might limit communication or create external noise that interferes with your ability to hear your message. Second is the epistemic context. It is a background knowledge shared by the speakers and hearers. For example, if I say John knows that his car is in front of him, the utterance is true if and only if John believes that his car is in front of him, the car is in fact in front of him, and John meets the epistemic standards that may the speaker's context selects. Thirdly is the linguistics context, or also known as the verbal context. So it is the study of how the context affects the meaning. As a matter of fact, understanding the meaning of the vocabulary items using linguistic context may involve syntactic and morphological interpretation of the elements within a text. So it refers to the linguistics environment in which a word is used within a text. It cites the linguistic factors influencing the meaning of the text. So the linguistic context, for example, it is what allows us to replenish the meaning of the words we may not know. It points to communication in its most interpretive sense. seeking the essence of the message instead of understanding it as a mere succession of words or sentences. So, the second branch of linguistics is the semantics. Semantics is the study of the meaning of words, phrases, sentences, and text. This can be broken down into subcategories such as formal semantics or logical aspects of meaning, conceptual semantics or the cognitive structure of meaning, and today's focus of lexical semantics, word and phrase meaning. And there are two types of semantics meaning. The conceptual meaning. It is the word is something that is large, filled with salt water, and so on. This meaning is true for everyone. Next is the associative meaning. Might be pirates, shipwreck, storms, battle, and so on. These associations vary from person to person. The conceptual meaning of concise is expressed in few words, but concise being a good thing is a part of the associative meaning. So the lexical relations are the synonymy, antonymy, hyponymy, prototypes, homophones and homonyms, polysemy, metonymy, and the collocation. So first, let's talk about the synonymy. Synonymy is a relation between individual senses of words so that a single word typically has different sets of synonyms for each of its sense. A word having the same or almost the same meaning as another word in the same language called synonyms. It precisely the possibility of substituting words in giving context without altering the objective and affective meaning. And here's the example of synonymy. So beautiful. The other word for beautiful is attractive, pretty, lovely, stunning. You are the most beautiful woman I ever seen in my life. Another example for bossy or controlling or tyrannical. You have a structure that likes to bossy. Next, antonymy. The word antonymy was coined by C.J. Smith as an opposite of synonymy. Since 1867, lots of efforts have been taken to define antonymy. But the problem is that the definition of antonymy tends to illustration rather than description. For example, if we would like to tell others what antonymy is, to give some examples like old, young, tall, short, open, close, bad, good, and etc. will be more effective than to give a definition. However, finding a definition which could account for every example of antonymy is difficult, even problematic. Lyons 1977 defines antonym as the words which are opposite in meaning and antonymy as the oppositeness between words. For example, buy and sell. Each pair of antonyms and the relation between these two words is termed as antonymy. Leach 1981 puts forward the definition of antonym and antonymy in semantics, that the opposite meaning relation between the words is antonymy and word of opposite meaning is antonym. And a famous Chinese linguist, Ha Zhuanglin, 2001, simply says antonymy is the name of the oppositeness relation. So, what is antonym? An antonym is a word opposite in meaning to another word. For example, short and tall. The person on the left is short. The person on the right is tall. And that's the example of antonym. Second is the heponymy. Heponymy, a word of more specific meaning than a general or superordinate term applicable to it. It shows the relationship between a generic term, hypernym, and a specific instance of it, hyponym. A hyponym is a word or phrase whose semantic field is more specific than its hypernym. The semantic field of hypernym, also known as a superordinate, is broader than that of a hyponym. In a sentence such as, "The pigeon is flying over the church," it is possible to change the word pigeon to bird or animal without changing the overall meaning of the sentence. This is because pigeon is a hyponym of both bird and animal. Let's proceed. So here's another example of hyponymy. Super, superordinate the hyponyms. Flower, also called as the root, rose, tulip, lily, chrysanthemum, peony, and jasmine. So you can look the examples here. So the second is the furniture. So in furniture we can say it is a bed, table, desk, dresser, wardrobe, and sofa. These are the hyponyms of the furniture. So let's proceed to prototypes. It is a cognitive reference point, the proto-image of all the representatives of the meaning of the word of or of a category. Some of the examples of prototypes are wireframes, slides, landing pages, working models, and interactive front-end and videos. Homophones and homonyms. Homophones are words that sound the same but are different in meaning or spelling. Homographs are spelled the same but differ in meaning or pronunciation. Homonyms can be either or even both. So, homophone, example, bearing versus bearing. Bearing means to bear, while bearing means to bear. Homographs. But so are bark, the sound a dog makes, and bark, the covering of a tree. So there are two meanings of the bark, the sound of a dog and the covering of a tree. Homonyms. Watch. She is watching me from behind. Watch. He likes to wear gold watch. Next. Polysemy. It is a word which has multiple meanings related by extension. Bright, shining, intelligent, head of the body and the person at the top of a company, foot of a body and a mountain and a bed or chair. Run, a person runs, the water runs. Next is the metonymy. Metonymy is a figure of speech in which thing of speech or concept is called not by its own name but rather by the name of something associated in meaning with the thing or concept. For example, sentence has two examples of metonymy. The pen stands in for the written word. This word stands in for military aggression and force. So the collocation. A collocation is two or more words that often go together. These combinations just sound right to native English speakers who use them all the time. On the other hand, other combinations may be unnatural and just sound wrong. Here are the examples of the collocation. Collocation starting with the verb do. Do me a favor. Do the housework. Do your best. Collocations with the verb have. Have a good time. Have lunch. Have sympathy. Collocations with the verb make. Make a difference. Make a mistake. Collocations with the verb break. Break a leg. Break a promise. Break someone's heart. Collocations with the verb take. Take a chance. Take a look. Take a rest. So, let's proceed to phonetics. Phonetics is about the physical production and perception of sounds of speech. It is the study of the physical aspects of speech. It studies all possible speech sounds. Phonetics is all about studying the sounds we make when we talk. There are the branches of phonetics. These three are the articulatory phonetics, which means the study the ways the vocal organs are used to produce speech sounds. Secondly, the acoustic phonetics, which investigates the physical properties of speech sounds, duration, frequency, intensity, and quality that are generally measured by the spectrographs to depict waveforms and spectrograms. Thirdly is the auditory phonetics, which is concerned with how people perceive speech sounds, how the sound waves and activate the listener's eardrum, and how the message is carried to the brain in the form of nerve impulses. So here are the individual sounds. Individual sounds include mainly the following sounds: the consonant sounds, or voiced or unvoiced, consonant clusters or blends, vowels, short and long. So here are the examples. Example, walk. The phonetic transcription of work is this: walk. If the student's pronunciation, they can say it like walk. Water, water, water. All, all, all. Mall, tough. For, always, also, spoil. So phonology, it is essentially the description of the systems and patterns of speech sounds in a language. It is in effect based on a theory of what every speaker of a language unconsciously knows about the sounds patterns of the language. Because of this theoretical status, phonology is concerned with the abstract or mental aspects of the sound in the language, rather than with the actual physical articulation of speech sounds. In phonetics and linguistics, the phonetic environment refers to the surrounding sounds of a target speech sound or target phone in a word. The phonetic environment of a phone can sometimes determine the allophonic or phonemic qualities of a sound in a given language. For the example, the English vowel A in the word mat has the consonants preceding it and t following it. In linguistic notation, it is written as like this one, where the slash can be read as in the environment and the underscore represents the target phone's position relative to its neighbors. The expression therefore reads in the environment after M and before T. Environmental sound perception serves an important ecological function by providing listeners with information about objects and events in their immediate environment. Then another branch of linguistics is the morphology. Morphology is the branch of linguistics that studies the structure of words. In English and many other languages, many words can be broken down into parts. For example, unhappiness, unhappiness, horses, horses, walking, walking. Another branch is the syntax. So what is syntax? It is the study of the structures and ordering of components within a sentence. The word syntax came from Greek and literally meant a setting out together or arrangement. Knowing a language includes the ability to construct phrases and sentences out of morphemes and words. The part of the grammar represents a speaker's knowledge of these structures and their formation is called syntax. In other words, syntax is the study of sentence patterns of language. The aim of this study is to show you what syntactic structure is and what the rules that determine syntactic structure are like. What meant by structure? Here is word order. The meaning of a sentence depends on the order in which words occur in a sentence. Compare the following sentences. I sing because I'm happy. I am happy because I sing. The two sentences above have the same categories and number of words, but different in structures or words order. Thus, they have different meanings. Syntactic category is a set of words and or phrase in a language which share a significant number of common characteristics. Syntactic categories commonly include the parts of speech, determiner, adjective, noun, pronoun, preposition, adverb, auxiliary verb, and more. Phrase structures grammars. The noun, phrase, adjective phrase, verb phrase, adverb phrase, preposition phrase, and the sentence as the core of the structure. The syntactic categories are illustrated in a tree diagram called a phrase structure tree. By supplying the name the syntactic category of each word grouping, these names are often referred to as syntactic labels. It is usually written by the initials of the categories such as the sentence, the verb, the noun, the preposition, adjective phrase, determiner, verb, preposition, noun, and the verb. So, The phrase is a sequence of words or a group of words arranged in a grammatical construction and functions as a unit in a sentence. There are five commonly occurring types of phrase. They are noun phrase, adjective phrase, verb phrase, adverb phrase, and the preposition phrase. A noun phrase is it refers to a phrase that built upon a noun which functions are the head word of the phrase. For the example, the young man threw the old dog a bone. The young man is the noun phrase. The old dog, a dog bone. Number two, pretty girls whispered softly. Pretty girls are the noun phrase. Adjective phrase. An adjective phrase refers to a phrase that modifies a noun. It built upon an adjective which functions as the head word of the phrase. For the example, she seems extremely pleasant. Extremely pleasant is the adjective phrase. You are much quicker than I. Much quicker is the adjective phrase. Verb phrase. A verb phrase refers to a phrase that composed of at least one verb and the dependents of the verb, in which the verb functions as the head word of the phrase. For example, he has been singing. Has been singing is the verb phrase. Second is the child found the puppy. Found the puppy is the verb phrase. Adverb phrase. It is refers to a phrase that often plays the role of telling us when, where, why, or how an event occurred in which the adverb functions as the head word of the phrase. For example, we are expecting him to come next year. Next year is the adverb phrase. He ran very quickly. Run very quickly is the adverb phrase. Preposition phrase. A preposition phrase refers to a phrase that begins with a preposition in which the preposition functions as the head word of the phrase. For example, he arrived by plane. By plane is the proposition phrase. Second, do you know that man with the scar? With the scar is the preposition phrase. Phrase structure tree is also called constituent structure tree. It is a tree diagram with the syntactic category information provided. A phrase structure tree shows that a sentence is both linear string of the words and a hierarchical structures with phrase nested in phrases. It is a combination of phrase structures. A phrase structure tree is a formal device for representing speakers' knowledge about phrase structures in speech. The clause and the phrase. Clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. Independent clause makes sense on its own as a sentence. Sample: I went to school. Dependent clause: it doesn't make the sense on its own as a sentence. Example: although I wasn't feeling well, I went to school. Next, the phrase. It is a group of words without a subject-verb component. For the example, the noun phrase is the best friend. Verb phrase was working. Adjective phrase very pretty. Adverb phrase really slowly. Prepositional phrase in the bin. So it is here's the example of a structuring of words. The child found the puppy. The child is the noun phrase. The is the determiner. Child is the noun. Found the puppy is the verb phrase. Found is the verb. The puppy is the noun phrase. The is the determiner. Puppy is the noun. So the phrase structures three above is correct, but it is redundant. The word child is repeated three times. The word puppy is repeated four times, and so on. So, what is applied linguistics? Through the term of applied linguistics has traditionally been associated with the scientific study of such areas as TFL, TSL, language in teaching and learning. Applied linguistics do a variety of things. The basic idea is, as the definition implies, to contribute to the real world issues. Applied linguistics entails using what we know about language, about how it is used, and how about it is learned in order to solve some problems in the real world. Applied linguistics uses language related research in a wide variety of fields: language acquisition, language teaching, literacy, gender studies, language policies, speech therapy, discourse analysis, policy, speech therapy, discourse analysis, censorship, workplace communication, media studies, translation, lexicography, forensic linguistics. Linguist what is the difference between the linguistic and the applied linguistics? So, in definition, linguistic is the scientific study of the structure and the development of a language in general or particular languages. So, in applied linguistics, its definition is it is the branch of linguistic focusing on the practical application of the language studies. So, their theory versus the practice. In linguistics, some branches of linguistics are more concerned with theoretical aspects of language, while in applied linguistics, it is concerned with the practical application of linguistics. And the focus of linguistics is the basically focuses on the scientific study of a language, while the applied linguistics it can identify, explore, and offer solutions. So, the main goal of linguistics is to increase our knowledge and understanding of the world. Since language is universal and fundamental to all human interactions, the main idea of linguistics is concerned with the nature of language and communication. The main linguistic characteristics are the pragmatics, semantics, phonetics, phonology, morphology, and syntax. The role of linguistics in language teaching, it helps teachers explain the English components of structures to the students. So applying the linguistics in our daily life is so very important. So I hope that you had learned a lot in, in our video today. Thank you for watching.